Golden Roses, and she asks, when we incarnate as different races and lives, like Black women one lifetime, white man another lifetime, trans woman another lifetime, etc., etc., do our ancestors stay the same? Are my ancestors in this lifetime going to be my ancestors in the next lifetime if I incarnated again on earth? Sometimes your ancestors from lifetime to lifetime will be the same, and at times they will not. It really depends on the arrangement that you have with your particular in-life council. They are the ones that govern the connectivity and the power range of what's best for you. And sometimes if the planetary alignments do not facilitate you incarnating within a particular lineage, it might be best for you to move next door or completely out of that range, but literally dependent or contingent upon what your needs are in terms of your next class of education in material life on this planet. Also, could you speak on the factors that cause one to move on the divine afterworld instead of the human afterlife? You say, well, but I say afterlife, I feel more comfortable calling it that. And that is pretty simple. What happens is there was a major difference between the human afterlife, which predominantly is the duat or the duat or the astral planes, the lower astral plane, the mid astral plane, or the higher astral plane. If you look at some of the, there are some really good writers out there who've written some really good books that have hypnotically regressed hundreds and thousands of people collectively. A lot of them have the same reports about these astral planes, but because of a lack of spiritual education, they call it the astral plane, and it's not really that. When you look at the higher astral planes that it is erroneously called, that is the divine afterlife. This is where very high ranking souls that have been in material form and have arrested that particular use for a material body, they've gained a lot of light in their soul. Therefore, that is the passport that they will use to get to the divine worlds. And the divine worlds are greatly different from your best days on earth. Hypothetically, if you were, some of you fantasize about making money as you sleep. Some of you fantasize about being a billionaire, a millionaire, whatever the case is, that gives you freedom. When you have financial freedom, you can live life pretty much more the way it was intended to be lived without having to worry about a paycheck or how you're going to pay your mortgage, your rent, or your bills, your child support. How, you know, some of us don't even know where our next meal is coming from. I've been there before, so I know the struggle. It's not easy to focus on your spiritual evolution when you're living from hand to mouth, right? So one of the things about getting clear of that, what governs the difference between where we go after we drop this body, unfortunately, it's called death to 95% of the planet. Not enough people on this planet are transcending or resurrecting or especially ascending. Not even 1%. It's a fraction of that. It really depends on the preparation of what you do while you are in this life that determines whether or not you go to the lower astral plane, again, which is where most human beings go, which is why there is a high level of recidivism of people needing to come back like, hey, I need to do that again, because that right there, that wasn't it. I don't like to do it. I needed to come back so that I can live a more evolved life so that I can get up there. And it really depends greatly on what you do. This is the reason why, beloveds, we have all of the programs of Galactica so that you can prepare for that. I'm going to say this too. We've had about 5 Galacticans that are known and about 7 that are unknown that have left this life. None of them are coming back here. All of them that have transcended have been given a choice of where they want to go, not being remanded by your own reconnaissance back here to this reality. This is the reason why it's very important to institute something like the studentship program into your life and start striving for that now, or else, again, you will repeat the grade. In a nutshell, the human afterlife is vastly different from the divine world. To make it succinct, again, I'm not ashamed to admit this. I once lived in a rat, roach, mice, bed bug infested apartment. One time, somebody came in and loosened up my toilet bowl. And when I went to see it, I'm like, who did this? This is ridiculous. I've got to get the heck out of here. And I think Liz came over one time and she's like, damn, G, you got it back. So
you didn't have a ceiling above the bathtub. It was hard to look at that.
The ceiling in my bathroom caved in. And there was a rat in the bathtub, And it was looking at me like, hey, what's up, man? I guess we in this together, ain't it? Yeah, it was rough. So that was actually on 445 Liberty Avenue, right there in East New York in Brooklyn. The spiritual walk is probably the smartest, most powerful thing that you can afford yourself the luxury of. And yes, it's nice to live in a nice home. It's nice to have a nice car. It's nice to have jewels. It's nice to go to concerts. But your primary focus and agenda, your baseline agenda should be your spiritual evolution. Because if it's not your primary thing, you're going to repeat this over and over again. And there's too much time in the universe for you not to have done this many times before. That's what deja vu is. You're repeating something that you've already done numerous times already. It's a lot of time out there. How do you want to spend it? Okay.
So, Master, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even trying to be funny when I ask this question, but when you were talking about the rats when you lived in 445, and I remember you talking about this in the past, that across the street you would see 444.
Every day.
Every day. Could those, because the rats are also associated with Lord Ganesha, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So could that have been a nod even to that part of it?
Of course, it actually was. It was the beginning of Galacticus actually during that time. So I had lots of mice and rats to, hey, welcome in. And I didn't know it at the time. It sucked. I definitely didn't like the roaches and the bed bugs. You wouldn't catch me dead in an apartment like that now. But, absolutely. Very, very good catch, Rosina.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for sharing that part of your humble journey. Because it seems like it's also, when you study the Buddhas and other gods, they've all had to sacrifice something. They've had to deal with all kinds of conditions to prove their stature and who they are and what they're able to deal with. So we are thankful that you were able to go through those things as a human being, so then you can understand us as humans as well. So you can teach us to the best of your ability. So thank you for your sacrifice, True Master.
You are welcome. It's part of the job, and it's a labor of love and purpose. And one of the things about the spiritual world, they're very clear about having someone that you can identify with, or else it would be a waste of time. Right? It's really important for you to be able to say, okay, I recognize that dude. He was in the same struggle, because you're not going to listen to someone who's glistening and shining and has, a golden sun helmet on, because you don't recognize that as part of your family. That there's nothing for you to plug into when it comes to that kind of presentation. Mocha Goddess 38 asks, can I still practice Buddhism, chant while implementing the valuable gems learned from Galacticus seminars and webinars? Can I keep my Gohanzen on my ancestor altar, or do I need 2 altars? Now, Liz, Chain of Command, loves this question. And to answer your question in short, most definitely. We have practicing, right? We have practicing Buddhists. We have Ifa priests. Galacticus is friendly to anything and everything except the left-handed path, the bastardized dark path. We do not support Luciferianism or any of that stuff, right? But if you are practicing something that is preceptual and a religion, that's fine. Again, we have plenty of people in Galacticus, Liz being one of them, who are devout.
Can I add to it?
Buddhist. Yes, please do.
Okay, the thing is that Galacticus is very accepting of everybody, but when it comes to Buddhism and your Gohanzen, you are not supposed to put anything on that altar that doesn't pertain to Buddhism. So we're all for people, you can mix everything, but if she's a practicing Buddhist within a community, it might be her district leaders that will come to her and tell her different. So you want to keep that in mind as well. It's not just us, but we're all for it.
And I also would say that Galacticus really more is, it's the engine to the car. It's the nitrous oxide to your fuel. It is it's the fuel that will take the vehicle of your consciousness over and beyond the challenges of what basically travails most people. You could look at it that way. So this will not get in the way of anything. It will enhance your belief in your connection to the Buddhic kingdom and to the gods of Buddhism, because they are gods. And they actually, quite a few of them are part of the gods of the Galacticus. And we thank them for all that they do. And they're really, really magnificent beings of power in the galaxies.